Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly J Jewellery. Today I'm going to show you how to make these cute swirly earrings. I've put a list of everything you'll need in the description below. So let's get started. I just want to say a quick thank you, a quick shout out to all of my lovely patrons for supporting me and making it possible for me to keep making all these tutorials for you. I really enjoy making all these tutorials for you. I hope you're enjoying them too. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything you would like to see in particular. Do you want to see some more rings? Would you like to see more earrings? I've got a few bracelet ideas too that I'm working on at the moment. So yeah, I'll put all your names on the screen. Thank you guys. To make these earrings you'll need 2 little teardrop stones. So mine are 15mm by 10. Mine are quite flat actually. But this design will work with most shapes and sizes. It's quite adaptable, but I'm going for this size because I'm doing earrings. If you want to do just a single pendant, then that's fine. You could have a much larger stone if you wanted to. If you do, then you're going to have to adjust your wire lengths to match. So I'm using square and half round wire today. So I'm using 21 gauge square. If you want to use round wire, that's fine. So that's 0.7 or 0.8mm wire, because I find the square is a little bit harder, so I tend to go for the smaller size, like a 21. But if I was making it in round, then I'd go for a 0.8. So it's got the strength to hold the stone. I hope that makes sense. So I'm using 21 gauge square, 6 lengths at 7 inches, so that's 18 centimetres. The half round wire I'm using is also 21 gauge. So I've cut 2 lengths at 3 inches and 2 lengths at 12 inches. So that's 8 centimetres and 30 centimetres. I need some little jump rings as well, which I've missed. About 8mm outside measurement. I shall go and cut mine in a moment. So tools, I've got my pliers, my round nose pliers, my cutters. Nylon pliers. If you don't have nylon pliers, don't worry. I just like having these handy for straightening the wires, flattening the weaves and whatever. We're flattening the wraps in this case. My nylon and prestige and the rest of my tools are Tronex. All my wire is dead soft, always dead soft, everything, all the time. Okay, let's get started. So to start with, cut your wires obviously to the length that I have. Take 3 of your 6 wires and your little short length of half round. Position your thumb centrally on those wires and we'll start wrapping just to the left of those wires there. So you want your half round facing your wires, and we're just going to wrap around and around those wires. Until you run out of wire. Push it all together, flatten it down. Both my wires finish at the back, so I'll cut both ends so it's all at the back and press those ends around. When I'm making earrings, I like to make them both at the same time, so if there's any adjustments, like I'm going to mirror image these, so we'll get to a certain point and you'll have to start taking one way and one the other. But I like to make them both at the same time. So as I've done that on that one, I'm just going to quickly do that to the other one. So if you want to do that as well, that's fine. Take your other 3 wires and the shorter length of half round, and we'll wrap around and join those and cut that wire off the same. So next we'll take one of those. Make sure your wraps are definitely central on there. You're going to grip those wraps centrally with your pliers, and we're going to bend them into a V. And this V is going to sit to the bottom, So I'm going to have my stone facing up with a V at the bottom. So I'm going to need more of an angle than that, I think. Bent it a bit more. That's it. I want a nice pointy shape coming off the bottom there. So I'm just going to quickly bend the other one to match so they're the same. So I've got two the same. So then we're going to position that to the bottom of the stone. So move to a flat surface. Now the idea here is that you hold it as still as you can so that it's level. Because I'm thinking like it's going to tilt off to the side and it's going to absolutely do my head in. So take care to keep the stone nice and straight. Take your time and bring the wires around the stone. As I said, my stone's quite flat. Makes a nice change. Don't let the wires cross over each other. Mine are desperately trying to cross over each other. And then at the top there, I'm going to grab the wires and give them a wiggle. And then straighten them up. And we'll do that for the other one too. So I've done the two there. So then take the one and your longer length of half round wire. And we'll join the top. I've pulled them out a little bit and I'm parting them a little bit just to keep an eye that they don't cross over each other during this join here. So we're going to take the half round wire around the whole thing and I'm going to hold it there and just take the little end around the side wires here. So it's joined. So when I'm happy with that, I'm bringing my wires back together and I'm going to go around. So I'm going to leave the front two wires. So if you can find the front two, pull them over. Just pull them forward out the way for now. And I'm going to wrap around the others and I want them to stay all nicely next to each other. If you can hear loads of noise, that's our Gracie snoring. So the other wires are still all nice and compacted together. And then I shall take this around those, just those ones. So you can either wrap it around or you can turn the thing around so you can keep your wire nice and flat. Don't let your wires come over, keep them all nice and flat. So we're keeping the front two out and we're wrapping around the rest. After you've done a few wraps, you can push it down. So do about 8 wraps roughly around all 4 wires and then take the front 2 wires and pull those out. Take those over to that side and then take your half round and carry on going around just those 2 wires now. So we're just going around the 2 wires. So keep going until you've used nearly all of your wire. Press it together, flatten it down. So this from the beginning here, I going to pull that a bit tighter. And I'll cut that to finish inside. Flatten it down. And we'll do that to the other one, so we'll catch up with you. So make sure when you do your second one, if you are doing earrings, that they're the same length. So I've got two the same. Let me just measure that. So my total thing is 3 centimetres from the end to the bottom of the wraps there, roughly. Because we're going to do mirror images of each other, if you are doing the earrings, then the top 2 wires go over the other way. So my front 2 wires come forward, and then the second 2 wires, these go out one way and these go out the other. That'll all make sense in a moment. So we'll add the stones. Using square wire, it's easier to add the stone if you part these wires a little bit first. I am trying to use my nails a bit less, so I'm going to try and do it with the pliers. But all I'm doing is I'm just parting those wires. So the easiest way to do it without destroying your nails is just to grip and pull, and then turn it over and grip the wire, the end one, and just pull it gently. When you've got a gap in there, you can get your pliers in and make the gap a little bit more. I'm absolutely determined to grow my nails back. I'm not going to keep spoiling them on the wire. There we go. So just do that to the both sides, and if you do make a few little marks on your wire like I just did, get your nail buffer or some fine sandpaper and give it a little touch up. If you're using a nail buffer, you can then move to a finer grade. Because of all the messing about, you might need to adjust this a little bit because your stone may not fit in. So moving to a flat surface, mine's fitted in. Pop your stone in and just push your wire around it to reshape if you need to. Gracie is absolutely snoring her head off if you can hear her. So we'll turn to the back first, because it's always a bit easier to have a bit of a practice run on the back. So all we're going to do is we're going to twist these wires in a bit so they hold it, but we don't want to fill this space here. So we're going to twist them just where it meets the bottom of the stone here. So grip the wire, the bottom of the stone, and we're going to just twist in. I'm holding the wire at the top as I twist the bottom so the top stays there and it twists in. So we've still got this big space here, but it's holding the stone in from the back. Then you can just give it a press. See the gap? Press it against the stone so you haven't got that gap there at the back. Do the same to the other side. Make sure your stone hasn't popped out. It'll be hard to show you this side. Grip the wire in roughly the same place and give it a big twist. Again, holding the top there so that it just twists in at the bottom of the stone. So that's held in from the back. Lovely, and our wires aren't in the way. So now we're going to do the same at the front. Get your pliers in that little gap there. We're going to pull the wire over the front. Whoa! So that would have put a big mark on the wire, can you see that? Don't worry. So then on the other side, grip the wire in the gap there at the bottom of the stone. Try and get it at the same height as the other one. Whoop. I've noticed I always go a bit lower on this side. And one big twist over the front. Oh, have I marked that one as well? I'm a nightmare. So that's now held in from the front and from the back, and I'm going to do the same to the other one. So that's both my stones trapped in. So next we'll shape the top. If you've got bail pliers, then you can use those to bend the bail over. If you haven't, then you can just bend it over with your fingers, as long as you do the same on both of them so they match. And then to join that at the bottom there, that's how Gracie's snoring her head off. Bring it to nice and flat and take this last little bit of wire around that whole middle piece a few times, and then finish with a few wraps around one of these wires to tie it down. So when you've done that, cut off that little end and do that to the other one as well, so they're both joined. And that's what we've got so far. So the top wires go out one to one way and one to the other, and the bottom wires come out to the front at the moment. So we could do with finishing off these back wires now, just to get them out the way. All I'm going to do with those is cut and curl them around into little curls. So if you want to do that too, do that now. If you want to do something else with those wires, go ahead. But I'm just going to cut them short. And I found my other pliers. We just curl them around and tuck them away. That's Gracie making all the noise as usual. So cut them and curl them out the way, so that's the bail all held in place now. And do whatever you've done, do that for the other one. Next we'll start with these wires at the top. So I'll start with this one where the wires bend out to the left. So both wires are going out to the left. The lower wire I'm going to twist. So grip the end of that wire with your pliers, or if you've got a different way of twisting it, that's entirely up to you. I like to pull, so I put just a little bit of pressure. Oh, hold on a minute. Let's get this one out of the way. A little bit of pressure between where I'm pulling and holding, and then twist. We can listen to Gracie snoring for a bit while we do it. Nearly there. And whatever we do to one, we'll do to the other. So take the other one, and the two wires bend over to the right. Hold on a minute. There we go. So we take the lower one, move him out the way, and we twist that one as well. Wires may have bent all over the place during that, like mine have. So I'm going to start with this one. So the top wires are going out to the left. Just give that a little straighten. So we're starting with the one with the wires go out to the left. So take your front wires and pull them out to the right. Just going to straighten those a little bit. And so we're going to take the top one of the 2 lower wires and we're going to twist that. And we'll do the same to the other one. If you're using round wires, you know, this won't work with round wires, so you can just leave all this out. And if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. So looking at the other one, so these wires go out to the right, so we're going to take the bottom wires out to the left. And we're going to take the top wire and we're going to twist that one. I like the twisted wires. I think they add a bit of sparkle when it's all done. Now we'll go back to the top 2 wires. So take your top wire and we're going to scoop it around and go over the top and bring it around. And then we're going to scoop around the side there. Like that. I'm going to take the next one, push that down at the base. We're going to scoop that one over. We're going to follow over the top. Going to come out, so we're going over that wire and then we're going to scoop it in at the bottom like that. So you've got these big swooshy wires. So I've pushed them up at the bottom, so it really exaggerates these lovely shapes on the sides. And then we can attach them to the side here. So if you take whichever wires ended up at the top, so that's my bare wire, I'm going to take it through, reposition it, find out where I wanted it to be, about there. And then holding it in place, bring it around. And just squeeze it around those wires at the bottom. Cut off the excess wire so it finishes at the back. And then press that wire around the side. And then look at this next wire, where do we want that? And then take that around the bottom as well and reshape that wire so it's how you want it to be. I want it to be a little bit lower down. Just below that wire, I think. Like that. And then pull that one around, cut off the excess, and we'll do the other side. So looking at those shapes, we've got to do that to the other one. So you want to really try and copy so that they look the same, so they match. So what I've done at the top here by really bending it down, we must do that on the other one. So take your other one, we'll start with the top wire, and you need to copy the shapes, but we're going around the other way. So look at the size of the swoop and do that to the other one. So we go around and across and down, and then swoop it in like that. These wires look really golden in this light. They're not, they're just copper. And then this one, bring it around. It must have golden light. And then we come across the wire. This one's a little bit shorter. And then we scoop it in to come around at the bottom there, just long enough. And I'm going to push them up a bit at the bottom to bring out those lovely shapes. And then I'll just have a look over it and make sure it matches the other one. Attach to the bottom the same. So that's my swooshies done. Right, next bit, we do these two wires. We've got these two wires left. Really push it down at the base, and we're going to scoop it around. So I'm doing the bare wire first, sending it around, and then this one scoops around, comes in on that side like that. And then I'm going to bring the other one around the same to follow this one around here. If we attach this in first, it'll be a bit easier to handle and we won't have all the wires. So pull it through, get that shape back, sort of like that. See it? Pull that around, give it a little squeeze around those side wires, and then I can cut that and just bend it over the edge there. Press it around that side to finish it off so it finishes at the back. And we take the next wire, push it right down at the base, scoop him around, and we're going to have to come through between the wires there. So bring it around and down. I think that wire can go back a bit. That's it. And then we want it to come across that one there and bend it around to finish there. Quite swirly whirly earrings this time. I really like these. I think they'd look lovely in gold. I think that light looks lovely. So then we bend the end through the middle. Then we've got to reposition it so that wire's back where we want it to be. A little bit more like that. And if we squeeze that there, that should stay in place. That's it. And of course I'm going to bend that over like I did with the other one. So hopefully quite a quick video this week. Haven't run into any major problems. Push that back a little bit. Beautiful. I forgot to mention we're going to need the ear wires. I might have remembered the jump rings. Lovely. So we need to do that to the other one. So let's finish off this other one. We're nearly there. Pull the wire right down at the base before you bend it around. And as you do, try and get the same shape as the other side. Try and match it up. It's not an easy task. Then the last wire, bend it right down at the back, the bottom first. And then we swoop it around. I push a little shape into it first. And then I pull the wire around where I want it to go. That works most of the time. Try and match it up with that one. Also that one, it's a bit closer. I need to bring those two wires a bit closer. And then it scoops out. About there. Does it go any lower than that? It's about the same. And then we attach it at the bottom. And you've got it how you want it to be. Keep matching it up to the other one. And then we'll take the end around that bottom bit. I'm trying to hold the side so I don't pull it out of shape too much. Keep comparing it to the other one. And then pull it around the bottom and cut off the excess. Press it around with your pliers so it's all nicely attached to the bottom. They do look a little bit different. I think I need to pull these down a bit. I think that's as close as I'm going to get it. I think I'm being too fussy. So next we're going to need a couple of jump rings and we'll need some ear wires. So for my ear wires I like to use titanium because it's really good with the allergies and everything. Nobody reacts to titanium. It's not very nice to work with if you're making things because it's just too hard. This, when I bought this, they said it was soft. It's really tough. Just cutting it alone is a challenge. Bending it, oh. So if you are working with titanium, you'll be wrestling as much as I am. This is how I do my ear wires. I bend the wire in half. This is 0.8, so that would be like 20 gauge, just round titanium. And I like to use these pliers with all the different sizes on when I'm doing the ear wires, because then they just all end up the same size. Grip the end of it, bend it around the smallest one. Oh, this wire is such a challenge. And then you want to go around one of the bigger shapes. So I grip it like this. So I've put the loop next to the plier and I pull it around till it kind of goes across the loop and we get this shape. Holding it together again. A bit further down, I put a bit of a bend at the bottom, and then with the old pliers, because Titanium is awful with your cutters. I think I've lost them. So then you got 2 ear wires. They're not going to go green. You're not going to have any allergy reactions or anything. So cut off the little bit where it joins together there, where they were joined. Cut that little end off and then reshape them. I mean, I use these titanium ones with everything, copper, silver, everything. Make sure they're nice and straight, and that'll do. So I need to run and oxidise my earrings. Oh, hold on, I haven't put the jump rings on. So we need to open up these jump rings. I think it would look better if they were a bit... I think seeing as we've got all these lovely big swoopy shapes, if we have an oversized jump ring, I think that would look really nice. So if I just open this up and try it and put the ear wire on there too. These jump rings are massive. I'm going to have to measure them to tell you the size. See, I think that looks nice with the big oversized jump ring, but feel free to do whatever you want. So my big jump ring, it must be the biggest size on my pliers. It's about 12, is it? It's about 12 millimeters outside measurement. Again, do whatever you want. Feel free as well to sell, because I have a lot of people asking, feel free to sell the jewellery you make from my tutorials. All I'm protective of is the actual tutorial. I don't want anybody copying it or really making it without the tutorial. Do you know what I mean? Does that sound silly? You know, I prefer you come here. Don't share pictures of the back or in progress, so people can come here and make it from my video. Oh, Google does play ads on my videos now. So I do get a little bit of revenue from that, though it isn't very much. So there we go. So I've just thought it'll sit so much better and flatter if we flatten this big loop here. And I've gently squeezed it too with my pliers. So we've got more of a flat loop. And it sits so much nicer. So I'm going to do that to the other one. So there we have them finished. I've oxidised mine. If you'd like help oxidising yours, I've done videos on oxidising and aftercare. All the links are in the description below. I am so pleased how those have turned out, and there's a lovely blue flash on those moonstones. So thanks for watching. I hope you managed to follow this tutorial okay, and I will see you all very soon in the next one. Bye for now. Bye.